Oh, I like this one. From Jimmy. What's your best color of Senko and how's the best way to fish them? Do you cast it up shallow or do you work it back parallel? Do you drag or hop it? What do you feel the best length of rod for this technique? Well, my best colors are, baby bass, green pumpkin. Can't hardly go wrong with green pumpkin ever. Watermelon, green pumpkin, laminate. Natural shad's another popular color with me. And that's pretty much the colors that I throw. But I've netted fish on every color Senko made. Some of the ugliest things I'd never carry to the lake, lime green, yellow, pink. I actually took a pretty good whipping from a lady in the back of my boat in the Cal Delta, and she was throwing peanut butter and jelly. I mean, I got so much exercise running and netting her fish all day, it drove me crazy. Actually got in my head enough that I went to my local tackle shop there, the Hook, Line, and Sinker, and bought, all the peanut butter and jellies off the peg. They all work. I think it's the action as much as the color, but if the color really plays into the confidence of the fisherman, mine's greens and browns or shads. That's the reason I like the 4 colors that I mentioned. As far as how do you fish them, you can nail weight them, you can wacky rig them, you can throw them weightless. You really can't fish them wrong. I've seen guys put them on a dart head. Down in Texas, it's very popular for them to Texas rig it, with a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce weight. I've seen them fished everywhere. I've seen guys Carolina rig them. I don't really know that you can really fish one wrong. My personal favorite, I do a lot of wacky fishing with them, both with weight or without a weight. And in the Delta, I rig them just Texas style with no weight. Usually I'll throw a 6-inch or a 7-inch a lot in the Cal Delta or Clear Lake. Bigger bait, bigger fish theory. But you just can't go wrong with Senkos. They're just a phenomenal bait in any color, just whatever your confidence color is. Well, you can actually use it about any length of rod. I mean, I'm a big length guy. I mean, I like 7-footers and up. So, I mean, most of the time I'm throwing a 7'3" or 7'4" when I'm fishing a Senko. Either spinning or casting, either one. I like that little bit longer rod. As far as how do I work the bait back to the boat, gosh, I don't know if you can fish one wrong. I mean, the nail-weighted Senko is the easiest, most fish-productive bait that's come around in a long time. I mean, if I'm in trouble, I grab a stinking Senko. It's just the way it is. I mean, it's, when Yamamoto made that bait, he just hit it, dead on. There's a ton of knockoffs out there, but I don't think any of them fish as good as the Senko. It's all about that little tail wag on that fall of that bait. I mean, it's very hard, to use the right consistency of plastic that's soft enough and it's got the salt in it and still to be able to fall and to get that little tail wag. If you're nail weighting it, you still get some good action out of that tail, but we're wacky rigging it most of the time with an O-ring. The best hook to use, I believe, is the split shot / drop shot Gamakatsu hook. We're lucky enough that they've now included that hook with a weed guard available in the end of this, the end of Christmas time, or right around the last week of the year. It's going to be a phenomenal hook. I think it's the best hooking hook out there for the drop shot. I mean, for the, let me see. I think the split shot drop shot hook is the best, effective, efficient hooking hook out there. I mean, a lot of them you'll have them for a second and off. That's the split shot drop shot hook has the right angle, the right bend, the right degree of line tie, where actually when you're pulling the end of the fish, it actually penetrates well. A lot of them hooks, they just lose way too many fish. The split shot drop shot hook is awesome. Parallel or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'll fish parallel, I'll fish a hump, I'll throw it any which direction. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way there. I shake it, I drag it, I shake it, I drag it. I try to fish it as fast as I can, but I do want it on the bottom. It's, gosh, just a great go-to bait. Another question from Jeremy. Do you still rely on Lucky Craft, or do you use others as well? Are you still using it to cash checks at tournaments, or is the bite not as reliable as it once was? Staysee 90 has been my favorite jerk bait for, gosh, 10 or 12 years. It's just a confidence bait. I mean, I'm really in tune with that bait. I mean, I just catch so many fish on it, and it's the action, a pop, 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 pause, 1, 2, or 3 hits, and I let that bait set just for a couple seconds, and I pop it again, and again, a 1, 2, or 3 pause before I let it set again. I think the version 3 Staysee is a good deal. I mean, it actually is weighted, towards the bill, so it actually tips down a little bit in the water. I feel like the next time I pop it, it's already at a diving angle. I'm going to get a little bit more depth out of it. Just a bait I catch a ton of fish on. I definitely believe in changing the hooks out. I like number 4 round bend Gamagotses. I like them much better than EWGs. I mean, for me, it's my confidence. I just don't lose fish on them. Is the bait as reliable as it used to be? Reliable, that's a tough word because, yes, I still catch them. A matter of fact, I just won a tournament 8 days ago on a Staysee 90. So it's still a great bait for me. I still rely on it. Is the bait as good as it once was? The bait is, but the fish get conditioned. And to be honest with you, the whole jerkbait technique has slowed down. I mean, 20 years ago, you get the brightest, flashiest bait you could. You throw it out there, you pop it a couple of times, and one comes up and eats it, and you catch him, and, you know, you go on. Bright day, cloudy day, doesn't matter. Bright, flashiest bait. Nowadays, we want more a subtle colored bait, something that doesn't look like a Staysee 90 in the water on those clear days. So we're going to throw something like a Phantom Chartreuse Shad or a Ghost. But yeah, it's still a proven technique. It's still a proven bait. The fish have just got conditioned a lot to jerk baits, but still, I've almost always got one laying on the front deck of the boat. This question is from Chris in Texas. He said, I heard that you throw a lot of jerk baits in the U.S. Open when the temperatures are hot, and hot is all in caps. In Texas, we get, a lot of temps in the 90s up in the hundreds, and I've never heard of anybody using a jerk bait in those temps. Is it true, and does the temps hurt a jerk bait bite? What made you choose this bait? When I won the Open, I really wasn't throwing a jerk bait, but I've caught a lot of fish down there on a jerk bait in the U.S. Open. But those desert lakes are different. Them fish like it hot down there. When it cools off a little bit, I mean, it really affects those fish a lot. The desert lakes are just different. But yeah, we throw a jerk bait down there. I don't care, if it's 120 degrees, which, believe me, it's been 120 degrees a lot of days on Lake Mead when I've been fishing the U.S. Open. And yes, I'm still throwing a jerk bait. Texas, them fish tend to pull off and get on the ledges and stuff more. They tend to be a little bit deeper. I've never caught them good on a jerkbait in Texas in the summertime. I've never done it. Lake Mead, yes, I do it in a minute. My Northern California reservoirs, I catch some on it, but it's not the best. It's not a super productive bait for me in the summertime. It used to be, but not nowadays. It's not. The fish have got a lot more condition to it. So I would say there's better baits for you to fish in the summertime in Texas. It's hard to beat a Carolina rig rod with about a 6-foot leader. It's just really hard to beat one of those down in Texas in the summer.